sports and entertainment, and advertising for small, medium, and large enterprises. All services are offered at competitive prices. Tune in daily to catch Luntha Television, Liye 007, GoTV on channel 807, Azam on channel 386, and live streams on our YouTube and Facebook platforms. You can find us in Area 2 Lilongwe or can reach us on 0883 815 055. Come, let us help you grow your business.
It's a Friday and it's the 1st of November 2024. I am so thrilled with happiness because it's a new month, and this morning I was listening to some sermons. I had a time to declare success in the new month. I think you can do the same because I think it works. Well, do not take any offense from me because this is a Christian television and we are proud of that. We are happy that you are there as we bring wisdom into your home through this press and review program. You're with me, Robert Edward, and my colleague
Moses Magawa.
Good morning.
Good morning, and this is my month too.
Yeah, you were born on 11th.
11th.
Of November. Yeah.
It's a month of celebrations.
No, I always try my best to fit into the shoes. But cinema, I kind of fail.
What's wrong?
I think the grand I know there was
or decide what you man about.
No, this is the truth. Cinema is not about that.
I think you don't know.
So I remember I asked when I was born. Okay, so you know back then in the village, this thing of birthday thing. I don't know nowadays, but in our days, birthday. Someone is celebrating a birthday.
Did you show the church in the village?
In the village.
Life in the village.
And so, if we had these ceremonies,
yes.
So the only time you would be compelled to review birthday was because when you go our standard 8, then
summer registration.
So so that was the time. Even when I remember that time we had to ask calling the number right. So I'm Comment ça là il vient na bado mwana wa jirani.
Jirani ndio.
Akaza jirani. Ali muntu na gumba. So
tonjira bino mmodzi.
Ali mimba yao. Nana gumba. So amaika nyima wale uzanya ntombi.
So mwana wao.
Ndio mwana wao.
Unabado mofana.
Unabado
masi.
Chaka ya yumo. Yeah, so when we kind of dig, that was mana jirani anabada jari. Oh, this was at least the
Mazati no. Ina ni pepesa.
Mwana ndikaona tu, mwana ndikafite chali watiko. Asbulimwa
I'm tempted to read a commission of inquiry. In an also
So you even know what you were born. And the hospital. That's a very big, it's a very big success.
It's a success, yeah.
And so we thank God.
We thank God for the grace.
I have the Nation newspaper.
Yeah, mine is the Daily Times.
So you really didn't take with a few Ngei Kanyongo tributes and Mera timid on the fuel stability. SB freeze Sata bank accounts and in Arabia acknowledged raise in IT court order.
Make bows to pressure, extends voter registration task, opposition still unhappy. These are some of the stories making headlines. The Malawi Electoral Commission MEC says it will extend the first phase of the voter registration exercise, which is underway in some parts of this country. This is contained in a statement which the commission's chairperson, Judge Honorable Luntha, has signed.
I'm here to understand the reasons for extension.
You want to understand?
Yes, and I want to understand why have they extended is it because of caused by opposition, or is it because they have seen that they are problem?
She says the move has been necessitated by the need to cover the period when citizen registration services were not available at voter registrations.
So you see now, and when I guess one is under
yes.
Amagana kuti izaina B sizo mabezeka maloena system okay anakamba mavurambi okay. So when these people are speaking, sometimes let's not look at politics.
Oh yeah.
In the TV eboma zero. There are people hey Basi, trying to make sure that anything that is coming out of the mouth of the opposition parties is just nothing but merely politics. Like there is no merit in it. Like that. But yes, Aripo. I mean I'm a Ganiza Jojo. I don't know that I'm a Bisanchiro Yan for Ganiza. Well, I don't think someone using a brain can be thinking in that manner. Okay? So but what has necessitated the move is the fact that at some time there were no NRB services, NOMA centers, and they're trying to cover that. And I think Meg is being honest.
Yes.
And I think that's what the opposition parties have been calling for. And I think it's something that maybe we, at this juncture, we need to start looking at. What are these people saying? Because by the end of the day, you cannot be ignoring what they're saying, and then later you come back and start saying, okay, because of that. You're actually saying what they said was true. Okay?
Yeah,
okay. Do you know that in 2020 we voted in this country?
Yeah, we did.
We made a decision as a country. We voted for this president, Dr. Radasage.
Yes.
Where has he landed us as a country? Where are we as a country? I think people should be understanding this thing. When it comes to elections, this is a very serious exercise.
So before we go further, where are we now? Because that question, where are we?
Where are we now? Is that the president of Radasage is building roads in the central region and other regions.
Okay.
Where we are now is that the president, his administration, managed to establish a special court to be looking at the Nkaniza Karangare. Well, these things I'm talking, I'm not just speaking.
Yes.
These things, if you go in the manifesto, MCP, you find them.
Okay.
Where we are now is that in some places we are able to see Manyumba and Marubino, Kobaso security the houses. That's where we are. Where we are now is that I was trying to start with the positives. But it seems like I don't know that jam up. Okay? Now, where we are is that as a country, this is the government that has borrowed more than Maboma and house, but within a space of Zagas Menaka to do in the Jingongolia Aboma. Matrilioni to Ndalama. We are remaining with very few amount of money. Before this country, others start describing it as just going bankrupt.
Oh,
you understand?
Zuma figure stage.
Yes, Zuma figure
Good bankrupt.
Okay. So if we continue with the way things are happening today, this is the country. We are where we cannot produce enough for export. That's where we are. I went to a certain symposium at Gateway Mall, and I saw a certain young man from Pole, Mubas, was able to produce or manufacture fuel as in diesel from plastics.
Are you sure?
That person is looking for 60 million only to build a factory. Factory is yenga mafuta, kama mafuta zitoka kumajani, kuma thin plastics. Zinyana hizi zimabeba. Kukaze mpanga chemistry mundu amene ngama galiza manje. Ni mtu kuga mafuta. Do you understand that?
What one Malawi?
No, is a Malawi. 60 million guys. If we look at how much does a president spend to just leave that state house and go to somewhere and they start doing it, whatever. A lot of money. Okay. Now instead of us as a country to be able to be looking at this message of and be channeling money to those kind of things, we are busy doing it into many only God knows what. Okay, that's where we are. So we voted as a country. This is where we are. We are at a time in this country. We are at a time when mafuta mlimi. Okay. If you ask them, no one is speaking. There are some people who are speaking on top of their voices to say, mafuta. They use that. And do you know that people, some people with all shamelessness, they will go. If this situation eases, like a situation here, do you know what these people will start doing? They'll start giving credit to Jaguira. Jaguira delivers.
And the CSOs here take government to task on fuel. I'm trying to connect what you're saying. And their human rights defenders coalition. And then I'm the president, so should we say president? So
yeah, I be your courage to go to Pelo Grand to go and why I shall this you? Yes, they are the first.
Why?
They are the first because they have now degenerated into like puppets. There is nothing they can say. I'm speaking
puppet.
No, I'm going to do.
So you're trying to.
So these HRDC people were and in fact, I can now somebody was like, Tinajo and Toro. Chova. But it's over Zina, Ugamaja Abba, Gadiki Jabru, Mazosa Jamakara. Gadiki Jare, Mazosa Jamakari. Didn't do to me. But it is the bottom of the word in top or say, where shall I see Unata? More if these people speak, I don't think government shakes. There was a time that when these people open their mouth, heads were rolling.
So what has swallowed them? They can be just like that.
I don't know. I don't know what has swallowed them. I know if you meet them, they will give you a lot of explanation from A to Z, which will not make sense anyway to Malawians. And so we are in this we are in this state because we chose this government. You understand?
I do.
So how do we choose the government? We do it by voting. So the process of voting is not supposed to be taken lightly. And the best way of doing it is to make sure that you accommodate each and every view by removing all the fears. And that's possible. Because what you do, you say, how do you want us to do it? Or you make sure that from the way we go, you have started engaging the people. Awa mudufuna tigabange bogowa ma EMDs. Kodi kumeki yuru karabasi la gamna zoda amna zali bange mangu magu. But if you do that internally, so you have made a decision, you have convinced yourselves as MEC, and then you are coming out to people. So people are saying, no, the decision you made is not, we are not amused with it. And then what have you started doing? You have put a gear of defensiveness. So you are defending yourself. As who? Like, who are you? Because without you, this country will still stay. Okay? Without whatever, without without that, you can still conduct an election. Okay? So these are the things that MEC must be able to take into consideration. A decision that will be made that day will make people to cry for the next 5 years. Because no one should misunderstand me as if if there is another person who did a disservice to this country in some areas, is the former president. Professor Peter Mutari, even including the other former president, Dr. Joseph Banda. In some areas, these people, they also did a disservice to this country. In fact, some of the problems we are facing now, they may be because of what the decisions that these people made. Okay? So, save for Dr. Joseph Banda, because he did not become president because he was elected as president. He came because we followed him as a country. And so this is a crucial exercise for a country, and these people are supposed to be making sure ma fears raise asayangane from the political colors, awayangane what does this mean to a Malawian? Okay? So that's what I can say. We are in this problem because we chose this problem ourselves. And the best way to correct the wrongs is to go and vote again. Whether we vote for the same person, whether we vote for another person, that's the best way for us to speak as Malawians. And then someone should not be thinking because he's what he thinks is more wise than other people. No. Because without that person, this country stays.
So, Anamaromba on the same. They are not satisfied. I was trying to check because opposition they are still unhappy.
That's because what they demanded is not that. They demanded that they demanded the registration should be halted until they review the face-to-face, so on and so forth. Then Anamaromba is just an example of one of the outspoken politicians who can speak a forest of words but a desert of ideas. If these are, it's not even any better. The number of person is not even any better. It's just an example of all these recycled politicians who can just open their mouth and speak a forest of words but a desert of an idea. Okay? Let me start. Yes. Let me start by their demands. They were making a certain demand about the Section 12, the use of the national registration and all that, national identity card and all that. They were busy, these people, speaking. Instead of them, they are members of parliament. Instead of just going to parliament and push for the change of our legislation. Why are you calling journalists? Hey, how can you start doing things outside the law? Okay? That's what this you understand? That's the first thing. The second thing is, Zimina Munina Zoti Aujeni Adulebansi Udindo Magud. There could be some sense in that. Why? Because there is issue of credibility. Okay? Mandate they make is to run an election which is free, fair, and credible. So if the presence of the make chair would affect the credibility of the election, okay? If her presence would affect the credibility of the election, then Anamaromba, but if that's not the case, then whatever is speaking is just speaking because he has got an opportunity to be in front of a camera and he can speak.
But then,
okay? Yeah, because our the late JZUT. Okay? So she was asked, are you? And her response was, don't look at me or judge me from that lens. You judge me as a judge, I'm qualified, what. My dear, everyone knows that for you to be a judge, you are qualified. What we are talking about is very big than your qualification or whatever. This is a matter of making a decision for a country. You understand? Not making a decision for a case that so and so they have all, and now I have looked into law and the facts and
God have mercy upon us.
This is making a decision that someone should be sitting at the State House and managing the affairs of the country. That's not a joke. So, it should be taken care of. It cannot be everything, but at least when people are talking, when they are talking, at least, and be able to analyze and be able to tell them, we have heard you, but these are the demerits and these are the merits of your statement. Otherwise, these people will be going out there just like what has happened. Yeah, it does it. Okay. I've given an example. On this specific matter, the make chair, it has good credibility. I want to take my audience to a judgment in a proceeding on the High Court, the Constitutional Court, which was upheld by the Supreme Court. They said, and we have voted so because zimene zidawulutsidwa ngati zosalira zachisankho kutengera ndi zinyakanyaka systematic, widespread and grave irregularities that has got has got capacity to affect credibility of the results. So credibility you understand?
Yes.
So this can make even a DPP to say, if I saw the credibility as many as Zarugas, if I only so there are probabilities that she may be affiliated with that party. Okay? If you are not, that's the unfortunate part now.
Okay.
That's okay. We are madusa process of parliament. Okay. Parliament kawili ama yangana kuliko muntu is qualified.
Okay.
There akadusa kumene kujama ga pereka no kwa a president. The president yama santa. Kuna pamene ali modali qualified ndivinendu tenga. Okay? So yes, I'm the president. We don't want to be hearing all those things. You know, it's not the president who does that, and we go through parliament. By the end of the day, who makes the final decision? Because Moses and Robert figure by our president. So the president will say, for whatever reason, he'll say, so Yeah, and so that's where we are. So I just wanted to make people understand what it means to have an election. What is an election in as far as GICO is concerned? It affects everything. President didn't have so that's what has happened. ACB frees Sadar bank accounts. The Anti-Corruption Bureau ACB has given a United Kingdom-based business person Sadar access to his bank accounts frozen in connection with investigations of some procurement deals his firms had with government ministries, departments, and agencies.
All right.
Sata uja. Akanena sata. Sata. Adam segera bank account yake. Banoba basi akuzibilo makanenga na wapi.
Muri basi.
Basi. ICB. Kafufu wa uronisa kuti account yake yosakukuza na ndiza miyambi minana mungu. Ya mamuka dia. So basi.
Aziguisa chilo.
Aziguisa chilo. ACB remaining. NRB acknowledges delays on ID's order. National Registration Bureau says it is complying with a court order to conduct citizen registration in Malawi Electoral Commission voter registration centers, but concedes that it is logically incapacitated. I don't know why it took time for these people to say this. They are saying they do not have the capacity.
Or avomereza kutekera alibe.
In fact, let me continue. Speaking in an interview yesterday, NRB Principal Secretary Mpatso Sambo said they have started dispatching more staff and equipment to voter registration centers. But when asked to site make registration centers where NRB has assigned officers to issue national registration services, he said he needed to consult, said Sambo. We have complied with the court order to assist every Malawians to register. Logically, we cannot get to all 1,757 voter registration centers in one day. If we are not at the centers you visited, that does not mean that we did not comply. We are dispatching forms and officers. Let me check on the exact centers and let us speak later. This person was Gola. Okay. There is a judgment here, Justice Mandala and Brass. It orders this government agency to be at my registration centers.
Yes.
Okay. Before this judgment, I spoke to chairperson of Legal Affairs Committee, who told me that this will be happening. They have made that arrangement. But many registration center I was told by the chairperson of Legal Affairs Committee of Parliament. He's on record. And now comes, that was a month before this judgment. The judgment also says the same. Now this is coming at a time when the opposition is saying NRB is failing to register a Malawi Kambura vote so that they so that they should have access to go and register and then be able to vote, to exercise their right to vote. Okay? So if these guys are saying, number one, we cannot be at all centers in one day, which means if the registration is continuing today, or it was continuing yesterday, okay, they were in some centers, but they were not in other centers. It means in those other centers, people who did not have the national ID were denied the access to register into voters' roll Yamaha Electoral Commission. So whatever the case, whatever they can tell us, we do not, but that's what it means. And it means this reporter, Raf Muhole, it means when Anabanga visits some of the centers. And Kunari Bay. Okay? And so this person, the Sambu guy, the PS doesn't even know how many as NRB they have dispatched to Razaka Karama centers, but he says Abangai quantify. So he doesn't even know. Okay? So go had to reach areas. Commercial people walk long distances to access basic needs.